Think of creating a SharePoint agent like onboarding a brand new employee. You know, someone who needs the right security badge to get into the building, a solid training manual, and a clear job description to actually be effective. Well, in the Microsoft 365 environment, configuring those exact three elements is exactly what we're doing when we create a SharePoint agent. So let's look at how we actually go about building this new digital employee.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover SharePoint agent permissions, the 4 creation starting points, the overview and sources tabs, defining agent behavior, and finally, we'll compare SharePoint against Copilot Studio.
Okay, Section 1. Let's kick things off with SharePoint agent permissions. Let's dive right into that security badge requirement we just mentioned. Because just like a physical security badge gets a new hire through the front doors of your corporate office, right? Well, a user absolutely must have the correct access rights to build an agent. In Microsoft 365 terms, you got to have edit permissions or hire on the specific SharePoint site or document library where you're planning to create that agent. Literally, if you only have read access, the doors are locked. You can't do it. So write this down for your AB 900 exam. Creating an agent always requires edit permissions. Absolutely crucial detail.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 4 creation starting points.
Imagine a massive corporate headquarters. You might walk in through the main lobby, maybe the loading dock, a side door, or even the parking garage elevator. Well, similarly, once you're signed into your SharePoint site, there are exactly 4 doors or entry points you can use to start the agent creation process. You've got the site homepage, a document library, selected files, or the agent chat pane. And what's really cool about this is that no matter which door you happen to walk through, the system instantly pre-scopes or restricts your brand new agent to that specific location.
Let's look at that very first door, the site homepage. It's honestly the most straightforward path. You simply navigate over to your SharePoint site's homepage, click the new drop-down menu right at the top, and just select Agent. Boom! You've kicked off the process, and by default, your agent uses the entire site as its knowledge base.
Our second entry point is the document library. Say you're managing a busy logistics department and you only want your agent to know about, shipping contracts. You just navigate to that specific document library. Up on the command bar at the top, you click Create an Agent. This instantly scopes the agent to include all the supported files contained just within that specific library. It's super handy. But what if you want to be even more precise? And this brilliantly illustrates our third starting point, selected files. Let's say you only want your digital employee to know about 2 very specific HR policies, not the whole massive folder. Well, you can just select those exact files, right-click to open the context menu, or, just click the ellipsis next to the file, and hit Create an Agent. It's a highly targeted way to onboard an agent with incredibly specific knowledge.
And that brings us to the 4th and final door, the agent chat pane. On literally any site, page, or document library, you can click the Copilot button up in the upper right corner to open up the chat pane. Right next to the name of the current agent, you'll see a little drop-down arrow. Click that, select Create an Agent, and you're off to the races. Definitely make sure to memorize these 4 exact starting points because it's highly testable material for your exam.
All right, Section 3, Overview and Sources tabs. Let's check out the actual drafting process.
So the absolutely crucial concept here is understanding the drafting lifecycle. When the Create Your New Agent form pops open, you're working on a draft. Think of it like writing out a business contract that hasn't been signed yet. You can bounce back and forth between the tabs, make changes, tweak your settings, whatever you need. But, and this is key, it only becomes a live active agent once you actually click the Create button. Until then, just a draft. And once it is live, any further changes you make are instantly applied to the live version.
The very first tab you'll see is the Overview tab. This is essentially where you give your new digital employee their name tag, the agent's name and its description. Now, it'll give you some default values, but you can and absolutely should customize them. You can even assign a custom icon. But pay very close attention to this next detail for the AB 900 exam. If you upload a custom icon, it absolutely must be a .png file and it cannot exceed 1 megabyte in size. No exceptions. Next up, we move to the Sources tab. Think of this as handing the employee their training manual. By default, the source field is set to Sourced from Entire Site. Pretty self-explanatory, right? It means the agent is going to read and learn from everything on that specific SharePoint site that the user actually has access to.
However, administrators can easily override that default. If you select Source from document libraries, folders, or files, a new little menu pops up allowing you to manually add those items.
This opens up a Pick Items window where you can literally hand-pick exactly which documents or folders are going to act as the agent's brain. You just check the little boxes next to the files you want to include and you're set.
And that brings us to a hard limit that you absolutely 100% must know for the exam, the number 20. Listen carefully. Whether you're adding entire folders or just individual files, a SharePoint agent is strictly limited to a maximum of 20 sources. Not 21, not 100, exactly 20. A lot of folks get this confused with limits in other tools, but in SharePoint, 20 is the absolute cap for knowledge sources per agent. Do not forget that number.
Moving right along to Section 4, Defining Agent Behavior.
So the Behavior tab is essentially where you set up the communication protocols for your agent. First off, you can define a welcome message that pops up when a user opens the agent. This is a highly testable detail because welcome messages are a feature completely unique to SharePoint agents. They're actually not available in standard Copilot chat agents. Here, you also define the agent's instructions in natural language, basically telling it exactly what its role, tone, and limitations are.
But we've got some strict constraints here that you need to memorize. On this tab, you can configure starter prompts. You know, those clickable suggestion buttons for users? But you are strictly limited to a maximum of 3 starter prompts, period. Furthermore, when you write out the agent's instructions, you've got to refine them manually. Unlike Copilot Studio, which will actually ask you conversational questions to help tweak your instructions, the SharePoint tool does not carry on a conversation with you. You type out the rules, and that's it. No conversational prompting whatsoever.
All right, Section 5. Let's compare SharePoint against Copilot Studio.
We really need to crystallize the fundamental differences between these two platforms. Think of a SharePoint agent as a highly specialized librarian. It's tailored specifically for document management, content discovery, and internal workflows. It's strictly limited to 3 starter prompts, it allows a welcome message, and it requires manual instruction refinement. Copilot Studio, on the other hand, it's like hiring a versatile full-stack developer. It allows unlimited starter prompts, dynamic chat refinements, and crucially, it enables a code interpreter and an image generator. SharePoint agents cannot execute code, and they cannot generate images. They are purposely scoped down for secure, document-centric tasks.
Let's do a quick recap of the exact technical constraints you need for the AB900 exam. To create an agent, you must have edit permissions. You can connect a maximum of 20 knowledge sources. You're limited to a maximum of 3 starter prompts. And finally, SharePoint agents have absolutely no image generator and no code interpreter. Got it? Awesome.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to test your understanding. Which platform would you choose to create an agent that can execute code and generate visual aids on the fly? If your answer is Copilot Studio, hit the nail on the head. You've perfectly grasped the logic here. Remember, if you need dynamic code execution or image generation, you have to step outside of SharePoint. But how exactly do you go about building that versatile developer in Copilot Studio? Well, that's a whole new architecture and an exciting next step in your Microsoft 365 journey.